Simulcast initiated. Okay, and we're recording, right? Okay. I'm just going down the checklist of everything I can screw up. Welcome everybody to Friday Night Comics. I'm going to share my screen and we'll go through our little intro. Hey, welcome everybody to Friday Night Comics. I'm Michael, subbing for Tom tonight. Some of this may be out of order tonight, forgive me. But SAW is a 501c3 nonprofit with online courses. You can check out our offerings at learn.sawcomics.org. I've got the little thing in front of my screen, so I can't. Oh, there it is. And I got to X out of, oh, sorry about that. Coming soon is SAW's year-long online comic certificate program, a great course that covers all the nuts and bolts of making comics. And next week, we have all my Zoom things are on top of the slide and I can't read it. We have Soundtrack for Your Life on Friday, July 7th with Teresa Wong. Tom's book, well, he is one of the editors, Graphic Literature, is being published on July 18th. He didn't give me any copy to read, but if Tom's involved, I'm sure it's great. I have it on pre-order. Check it out at rosemiddlepress.com. SAW survives from tuitions and donations from people like you. If you donated tonight, thank you. Donations help pay the artists and fund free programs like tonight's. You can also support us at paypal.me/comics-workshop or on our Patreon site. And we also get a lot of help from sustaining member donations. So consider that if you're able. Hey, share your work on social media with the hashtag Friday Night Comics and at Comics Workshop. And join us for free anytime at the SAW sharing site, which is members.sawcomics.org. Please, no inappropriate speech or imagery. Sometimes we have children in the audience. No trolling or hate speech or explicit language. Thank you. Keep it PG-13. And enjoy. And tonight is having fun with self-mythology. Okay, now Siri's talking to me. Sorry about that. Having fun with self-mythology with Ellen O'Grady. Please take it away, Ellen.
Thank you so much, Michael. Thank you for hosting tonight and for you and Tom and all those at SAW who are keeping this amazing, life-giving tradition of Friday Night Comics going. And thank you for each one of you for being here. Sending lots of love to each of you and a lot of empathy to all of those that are experiencing a lot of smoke today and these days. I would like, what I'd like to do in preparation for the exercise is to have all of us imagine that each has received an invitation to join a new community, and this community has been is being created to help the planet and all of its creatures thrive. And you've been invited to this community because of a particular essence of being human, and that essence is going to help this community thrive. And I'll be giving you prompts later to help us come up with that, but that will be one of the, that will inform one of your self-mythology characters, and we'll be creating 4 of those in about 8 minutes. We'll start that exercise. Now I'm going to start my, oops. Let me know or let Michael know in the chat if I go too fast. I want to go through this fairly quickly because I'd like us to get to the exercise. But wanted to say first what I mean by myths tonight. Myths tonight are images we use to help us understand ourselves and the world. The seed for this workshop was planted during Joy Mayer's Friday Night Comic Workshop on creating making a friendship zine. And the challenge was to make yourself understandable to someone in an 8-page zine. The images I drew on these 2 pages, and I removed the words, stood out to me because although they are describing aspects of myself, because of the symbolic bag over the head and the
Ellen,
satellite dish hat.
we're not seeing anything yet. Are you sharing your screen?
Oh, you're not?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, well, let me, just a sec.
Don't worry,
Glad you told me.
we'll fix this in post.
I think we've, okay, that's good to know. I think I've got it now.
There we
I
go.
think you did.
It's coming.
Okay.
Hang on,
Oh,
hang
dear.
on, not yet, not yet. We've still got the screen broadcast.
Okay.
We still have the spinning wheel. Now,
Yeah.
if you want, I can share your slides from my desktop if this looks like.
Yeah. Why don't we do that? And then I guess I'll just tell you when to switch the slide.
Yeah, you'll just say next or something, or
Okay.
give me a little
I
signal.
think it might be because I'm using an iPad. Okay.
No worries, we're prepared. I have this
Yeah.
in a window. Let me just find. Here we go. Okay.
Okay. Okay. So myths are images we use to help us understand ourselves and the world. Next. And as I was saying, I got the idea for this workshop during a workshop with Joy Mayer on making a friendship zine. Next. And the challenge of the zine was to make yourself understandable in 8 pages. And these 2 pages stood out to me because of the symbolism of the bag over the head and the satellite dish hat. And that first page, what the words told you was that one of the reasons I make comics is to be seen, which is a little embarrassing to admit. And then, but paradoxically, I often have a hard time with attention, which is also a little embarrassing. But there's something, and the paradox itself feels a little embarrassing. But what I was finding was that creating images of myself more symbolically kind of lightened it made it easier to tell the story. Okay, next. And so a little light went off in my head that drawing aspects of myself in a more mythical, depersonalized way may help me look at myself more honestly and may help me tell a story. Next. So here are some of my recent self-mythology panels. Some are representations of what emerges when I'm doing well, others when I'm not doing so well. One is aspirational, one is more spiritual, sort of how I understand all of us as humans. Next. But before I made those cards, I looked around to observe how other people were using myths to tell stories. And this is David B's graphic novel, Epileptic. And he transforms his family struggles with his brother's epilepsy into symbolic battles, visualizing the illness as a dragon and himself as a warrior. And you might see him in the right-hand corner. Next. And he also mythologizes ghost friends to help support him. In the upper right-hand corner is sort of an abstract bird figure that represents his grandfather. Next. And here he is with two of those figures while his brother is having a seizure. Next. So I also looked at various decks of cards that the one in this case that use animals and insects to describe human qualities or states of being. Next. When we do our exercise tonight, you might think about using insects or animals to depict certain qualities of in yourself. Next. Oh, what deck card is that? Sally, I'm not sure. I'll find that out. I do know, but I'm not sure right now. Oh, yeah. So here, this is just a sketch in my notebook. I was representing a trait that emerges when I'm not doing so well, which is nursing old wounds. Again, creating a drawing like this helped me take the quality more lightly and see it a more sort of just like one aspect of being human in response to disconnection. Pardon. Next. And I called this the nurser of old wounds. Next. And here again, a drawing, and this is referencing the activity of spinning yarn to illustrate making something of beauty from a tangle of experiences. Next. And I called that the regenerator. Next. Here I use the archetype of the fool, putting it to the movie characters of Romy and Michelle from Romy and Michelle's high school reunion, making those qualities more instantly relatable to those that have seen the movie. But even if you haven't, like putting the words on the sides to indicate what I mean by the fool. And this is a card that some of the cards that I was making for myself are like my regulars, like they're always there, like the hermit. But the fool is one that I have learned to invite in. So this like aspect of not caring what others think, like that's sometimes aspirational. So sometimes when we think about self-mythology, or the way I'm thinking about it is, who do you want at the table with your regulars to support you? Next. And this is an exploration reimagining cultural myths and mythological characters such as Noah. I think playing with cultural mythology can be powerful because these mythical figures can show up in our everyday lives or in conversation or in the media. Next. So for example, this is the Noah's Ark story, as some of you know, is one that I think about quite a bit. And Noah's story of survival is one that keeps getting told as the climate changes. And it's a myth that feeds many people's imaginations of perseverance within environments that have become hostile. Next. There are many references to arcs these days in politics and in, well, pretty much any circles. And for example, we hear about walls that secure us against whether it's immigrants or viruses or sea surge. Next. Next. These are just articles that I pulled up just this week. If you Google Noah's Ark or Ark and climate change, you'll see a lot of different stories. Next. Next. So although I can identify with Noah in various ways, as a whole, I think it's a bad example of a response to climate change to ignore those outside the ark. So I've been thinking about the raven as a potential mythological character to have in my deck. The raven, as some of you know, leaves the ark and doesn't return, unlike the dove who returns. And obviously I'm fictionalizing, I'm imagining what the raven could represent. But when you draw characters tonight, you might consider a reimagining of cultural myths or a mythological character. Okay, Now we're going to get to the good stuff. Next. So you will need 2 pieces of paper. And 1 piece of paper, draw 4 panels or fold in quarters. And I'll show you what I mean by that. Everyone can see me. You know, you can just fold it lengthways and then the other way. So either way, just draw 4, or if you want to fold. I drew mine as vertical rectangles. Okay, and next. Okay, so put that to the side and take your second piece of paper where you're going to put answers to questions that may help you generate your characters. Next. And if some of these questions just don't, you know, they just don't resonate with you, you could go pass on them. So for the first question, there's going to be 4 questions, and I'm going to give you a minute for this. Imagine someone who loves you and knows you well, who had written a letter recommending you be part of the community I mentioned earlier. What are the qualities they mentioned, or how did they describe your essence, that indispensable quality that determines your character? So you can begin. For those who may have come in late, I mentioned that, I invited us all to imagine that we've been invited into a community that's going to help make sure that the earth and all of its creatures thrive, and to think about the essence of your human that you're bringing to this community. Okay, that's time. Michael, are there anything in the chat that I should respond to regarding
Unfortunately,
instruction?
I'm not sure I can share my screen and monitor the chat.
Okay. Because I think
They
I
make it
see
way
some. Let me do a quick look at the chat, because I saw some questions coming up. Oh, I think someone. Oh, and so you're supposed to write the answers on the second piece of paper. The reason I wanted to have you do the panels first was that if you just wanted to, at any point, start drawing and skip the questions I'm giving you.
And this is one of 4 questions. This is the first of 4, correct?
This is the first of 4, and I'm just looking at the chat just to make sure I'm not missing anything.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, how many qualities, someone asked? It could just be 1. It was a bit of a brainstorm, so 1 is good. And more is good too. Basically, we're going to end up with 4 qualities that we're going to be drawing, but there's going to be 4 questions. And if you're struggling with suggestions, you know, it doesn't even have to be a person. It could be an animal that loves you. Okay. So next question, next, Michael. So imagine you had to write one quality that might be a challenge for you in the community. This might be a quality of yours that emerges when you're not at your best, like what I had shared earlier about being nursing old wounds. So what is that state of being or quality? And one of the reasons I ask this is because it's often fun to draw bad qualities, I find, and especially when we get to exaggerate them and then sort of, in a way, laugh, you know, bring some lightness to them. So I'll give you 45 seconds for that. Actually, that feels long. I'll give you 40 seconds for that. Yeah, actually, I'm just asking for one quality, so. I'll look at the chat to see if anyone has any. Yeah, and if you want to like text someone to ask them, you know, you can get answers right away. Text someone who loves you. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, the third question, is there quality you would like to invite to join your other qualities to act as a support? For example, perseverance. So I don't know if that needs any more.
I see heads popping up. I think we're ready for number 4.
Okay. Okay, so if you were certain of always being received lovingly, is there something you would do differently? Write that down. Okay. So next, Michael. So the next part is to circle 4 of the words, qualities, parts that you have that have the most energy. And these are going to be qualities we're going to turn into mythological characters. You may immediately have an image for that quality. If so, go with it. If not, for each, you might ask the following questions. Michael, could you, oh, next. So does this remind me of a certain animal, a character or characters in literature or in a film, a character in a fairy tale or cultural myth, an archetype, a painting? Is there another way I prefer to illustrate this quality or way of being, maybe an iconic human or someone important to me? Okay. Oh, I kind of don't understand the last question. The last question, I think, is it possible, Michael, to go back to the last slide? Someone had a question about that.
This one?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. The last question. I think that was I think the question, let me look at the chat. I think the question was about the last question that I asked. It's just basically, like, so often I think our responses to things can be based on how, if we think we're going to be well received or lovingly received. And so it may change our response. So the question is, if you knew you were always going to be lovingly received, I don't remember exactly how I worded that, but what would someone, Chris just said, if you knew you would always be lovingly received, what would you do differently? Thank you, Chris.
If you weren't a
And
codependent people pleaser, compelled to always
yes.
what you think people wanted.
And Adam says maybe a similar concept is if you could act without shame, what would you do? That's great. Thanks for the help, folks. So I'm gonna close that. So now we're going to get to the drawing, and we have a nice amount of time. We're 26 minutes after. So I'm going to give you, we'll have 5 minutes for each drawing. I recommend, or you might consider exaggeration. Like if you were in a mirror, one of those warped mirrors, just to exaggerate the what you're describing. And just let me know in the chat if you have any questions, but I'll set the timer for 5 minutes, and I'll give you a minute warning when we're 4 minutes in.
I have a question, Ellen. Some of the examples you showed us early up, they look like tarot cards or oracle cards. Is that what we're going for? Drawing these characters almost in iconic poses to illustrate these 4 qualities?
It can be. In fact, that's what I ended up doing. But that's where I went. But you can do it however you want. If you want to, I think the last slide that I didn't ask you to go to, you may want to, like I did, like name it, and like you're saying, like in like they do in a lot of these decks. Like I did here with the Hermit or the Seeker of Self-Awareness. Yeah, but that's really up to you. And then if you want to write any qualities like I did, again, up to you. Does that answer your question, Michael?
Yes. And Marlene was asking, do we draw inside the quadrants? Yes. One character in each.
Yes. You could put more than one character. The idea is one quality in each.
Right.
Could you put up the slide with your cards? Oh, sure. Michael, could you do that? Put the, I think someone was asking for the examples of the cards. That's in the slideshow.
All right.
I'll look at I saw another question in the chat.
Like around 16?
Before 16. I think it's around 9. Oh no, it's 6. Someone asked to see that.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. And I'll work while I'm I'll work on mine.
You want me to keep time, Ellen?
That's okay. I've got it. Thank you, Michael. And I'll keep an eye on the chat if anyone has questions while you're working.
Yeah, because I'm flying live.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry
But
about that.
maybe, no, no, that's okay. But I think people would rather see what you're doing. Are you drawing live or you're just,
I am, but so can you switch it to my screen? Okay,
yeah.
so I don't have a second camera, so I just kind of set something up. And I drew this ahead of time. I'm going to add watercolor because I knew I'd have a lot of energy. I'm going to be timing. Yes, Jackie, I'll be timing each panel. We've got about a minute left for this one. If anyone's, oh, okay. That's time for the first panel. So if you want to go to the second panel, let's hit the alarm. I've started doing watercolor with, I think it's considered glazing. I think that's the term, just using layers of color, partly because I have a problem with keeping colors consistent. So I thought this could be a way of doing it, but I'm still experimenting. So right now I'm just putting on a wash of cadmium yellow, and then I'll put other colors on top of it. I think the nice thing about doing watercolors this way is you get this nice glow of colors coming through one another. I always put yellow down first. And I just saw your question, Chris, about or a couple of questions. You can, I should have been more explicit about that. You could do each panel answers a question, or if you decided to take a couple qualities from one question and put them in two different panels. Yes, Chris, that's right for number 2, sorry. And so when yes, I add watercolor over pen and ink. Sometimes I'll put ink on top afterwards. Oops, one more minute. Okay, that's 5 minutes. If you want to go to the next panel. One more minute. Ten more seconds. Oh. Okay.
This is the third one on.
Oh, I thought that was, did we do 3? Was that just
Oh,
3?
I may have lost. So this may be the fourth one, right?
That was 3. Okay, so sorry, I discount. So let's start the fourth one. On to 4. Thank you.
And this was if accepted lovingly.
Yeah, if you knew you would be received lovingly, no matter what you did, how might you what might be different? And so Adam mentioned that another way to think about it is, well, I should look at the chat. Like, who would you be without any shame, or how might things change? Let me look at the chat. 30 more seconds. Okay. Thanks all.
So this is where we say if people want to share, just reach for your reactions button and put your hand up and we can start calling on people. Is that okay, Nina? I mean, Ellen, I see Nina.
Oh, that's
Nina
great.
knows it.
Oh,
All right.
am I meant to do something right now?
No, I'm gonna spotlight people and they're
Yeah,
gonna
that's
share what they were working on, starting with Nina and then Walter and Jackie and Sally. Hi,
great.
Nina. Oh, I forgot to ask you to unmute. There you go.
Am I live? Okay.
Yeah.
This was cool. Thank you so much, Ellen. And I did them on index cards. So I did this. The first one's the forager. So feeding us safely on nature's bounty, knowledge of mushrooms and plants, careful observer.
Beautiful.
And then I did the introvert, wants to be alone, not good with groups, and happy being lost in thought.
Of these.
And then I did the empath, feels your feels, gut instincts.
Oh my gosh, that's wonderful.
And that's my husband. And then I did the giver, who gives too much,
Oh my gosh.
listens, and is reliable always. So
I love all of those drawings, and the giver with the using the exaggeration with all the arms, the hands.
yeah.
Beautiful drawings. Thank you so much. Gorgeous.
Thank you.
Do you think you'll color them in next?
Maybe, except these index cards are terrible for accepting watercolor, but I did use carbon ink on them, so I might.
They're beautiful.
Thank you.
So great to see you, Nina.
You too, you guys.
I see Jackie next and then Sally and Walter. Oh, I keep forgetting to, yeah.
Oh, I thought Walter was at, right, anyway, I'll go. So my first one and my first response to the first question is a rat, because I give a rat's ass about things like quality of life and resourceful under tough conditions. I'd give a rat's ass about others' hardships. And my second one is the schlepper of old baggage, and let that shite done. Let that shite go.
Go.
In which I was smart, book, street, otherwise. And then the last one is the princess. Asks for what she wants and needs, not responsible for others, and puts herself at the front of the line. The things that I can do. I
love this.
Thank
I love
you.
also I love the rat's ass is so great, the schlepper, and also how you changed some of the fonts for the titles. It's really nice. That's awesome. Thank you.
That's great.
Very funny.
Thanks.
I see Sally next and then Walter.
I got my cards out. So this is the optimist, like
Mm.
boundless energy and positivity and what? Enthusiasm.
Love it. Love it.
This is yes woman. I can do that. Sign me up.
And of course you need like, yeah, extra heads to be the yes woman.
Yeah. And that's kind of the
Love
negative because you're also overextending all the time. And
Yeah.
like, yeah. Okay. And what I would invite is patience.
Mm,
Mhm.
very nice.
Meditation.
And of course it's a bird.
Yeah.
I love it. Thanks,
And
Sai.
then-
Those are awesome. Oh, sorry.
Oh, no. Thank you. And then this is just like wanting to sort of put everything out there and share it and give it and that's and dress crazy. That's
I love it. Is that a elephant?
yeah, it's kind of an elephant crone. I don't know. I just
I love
yeah.
it. I love how expressive each one was we're so expressive of the meaning. It was perfect.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
I see Walter next, then Alan and Freddie. Hey, Walter.
Okay, so when you started talking about mythology, I immediately went to D&D, which is one of my other passions besides cartooning. And this is actually a way that I've tried to do self-examination anyway. So here are 4 characters in search of a Walter. There's a dwarf bard, and my wife always calls me a charismatician. And there's communication going on there. A gnome monk with meditation and discipline as the aspects. A human paladin. I have a bit of a hero complex and a little bit of an ethical structure. And a half-elf wizard, the scrivener, and the almanacker. People say that I have an Excel spreadsheet for everything I do, and they're not far from wrong. And every one of these, I guess, has a shadow side too. So,
Well,
That's where I went.
as most mythical characters do. I love that you applied D&D to this. That's so cool.
yeah,
Thank
it
you.
just fell there. So,
Those are awesome.
thank you for this. It was a lot of fun.
And we have Alan next, and Freddie, then Glenn, trying to get there.
Okay.
We go.
Yeah, as usual, I kind of did mine on my computer. So can I share the screen? Oh. Can't share the screen yet. Is it okay if I share the screen?
Yeah, you can do it now.
There we go. So I don't know. This was kind of tough for me. I fear I may have picked some somewhat obscure figures, and at least one case really I don't know, maybe blurring the line between what counts as mythological, but anyway, I don't know. I mean, I like to create things. So, okay, this is kind of silly. I know I picked some kind of ridiculous figures, but the demiurge was kind of the force of creation, although the demiurge was not really considered a positive force. Maybe there's a bit of self-deprecation in that, but yeah, the demiurge was a kind of force of like overdoing creation, and at least some myths, and sometimes was depicted as a snake with a lion head. So I went with that because it's a nice striking depiction. Then I think, I don't know, these correspond exactly to the 4 questions, but they kind of came out of that.
Okay.
Another one kind of is sharing knowledge. I work as a teacher, but I also like to share knowledge in more subtle ways, like working on some things online for some like online educational games and things like that. So for that, I went with Mimir, who's a character from Norse mythology that advised
nice.
Odin, but ended up getting beheaded in this god's war. And so Odin carried around his severed head as his secret advisor. So that's kind of Mimir representing the sharing of knowledge. And the lower left one comes out of kind of online culture from Tumblr. I don't know if it's spread to other social networks, but yeah, for the negative thing that I have, the biggest problem I have is poor time management, which I honestly, I haven't been officially tested, but I strongly suspect I actually have ADHD. And I was trying to think if there are any mythological figures that represent that. And then I realized in Tumblr, there's the ADHD creature. I don't know if that's, like I said, I don't know how it works, but this creature that kind of represents ADHD, they call BTW. So I just drew that little wacky ADHD creature. And then for the 4th question, like, what would you do if you can know that? I don't know, for all of my reliance on technology, again, I drew this on a computer, there's still a part of me that sometimes would like to just, at least for a while, go back to kind of back nature and just be without anything. And so since I still have a thing for art, I don't know, I went with this Swedish mythological figure. Oops, why is there a little dot there? Oh, that's not. Called the Necken, which I may have mispronounced, the kind of just this naked fairy creature that just sits in waterfalls and plays the violin, which I guess that's a little bit of technology. I don't play the violin. I did take violin lessons when I was young, and they didn't take. It's been years, but still, kind of the artistic intro, I guess. But being in nature and without the technology, that sometimes, I don't know. Sometimes that idea kind of does appeal to me more than it should. But anyway, so I guess kind of weird choices. I don't know if I did that right, but that's
Well, weird is good. I mean, these you said something in the beginning about being ridiculous. These are wonderful. They don't seem ridiculous to me. And like the ridiculous nature, there is a ridiculous nature to mythological characters, I think. So being ridiculous is kind of great. And the demiurge with the various animal characters is wonderful. And I loved how you brought Swedish mythology into it. I was hoping people would bring in myths that I don't know anything about. Thank you so much, Alan.
Yeah, Freddie next, then Glenn, then Barbara.
Hi, I'm Freddie. Hi, Ellen. And
Hey, Freddie.
more as a memoir, I'm not really an illustrator, I'm more of a memoir writer and an Ellen admirer. And I'm talking on behalf of my inner child who is excited to be here. But I just want to show one, which was the bearer of grudges. And self-righteousness. And I want to redo it so it's like a little better. But and I want like each side to say, one says like throwing hot coals and the other one says and expecting the other to get burned. And I'm too shy to show the other drawings, but the ones I come up with are the connector, the not so humble servant, and the recoverer.
I love it, Freddie. And I love the pun on bearer. That's wonderful. Thank you.
I have Glenn, then Barbara, then Jojo.
Okay, yeah, thank y'all for doing this. So the first one, I guess I didn't like have characters per se, but like the qualities I tried to draw. So this one was stern. Like, yeah, I feel like it was one of the qualities. So they're like a bunch of hands, like getting attention and like guidance, you know? So yeah, it's not a character, but it's like a scenario, right?
Very nice.
And then one of the qualities, I guess all the words are background, but it's enabling. So like these creatures are throwing fragile things and starting fires, and there's just someone like, yeah, yeah. And
Love
then
those creatures.
one of the qualities like vulnerable. So like I don't know, everybody's just chilling watching TV and like not like being their respective selves, you know, or like what we have to do or expected to do. And then
I love how the mice are in the cat's lap.
yeah, yeah, they're chilling, having a good time. And then there's this one's patience. So like everybody's coming home, going at their own pace and stuff.
The little turtles.
Yeah.
That last one feels so sweet. Has such a nice energy.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Thank you. That's beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
We have Barbara next, then Jojo and Edgar.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Barbara.
I'm speaking from Brazil. And I try to imagine some animals as some of my personality traits. So the first one is a turtle. Yeah, all of them has a hair like mine. The first one is a turtle because she just likes to stay at home and she likes to carry a lot of things, just like me. And if she brings the home with her, she has everything she needs. So she stay at home very much. The other is a opson. I don't know if I spelled correctly, because I think it's a cute animal, but some people think that is a weird animal, and it seems a chaos figure. But I like to imagine this animal like someone that likes to thrift and find weird things like doll heads to make jewelry. Uh, and a dodo, because I think that's a figure that brings joy to children and to old people. And in general, I'm friends with this kind of people. So I think it's reasonable. And a cat on internet, because I think it's hyper focused, and when I'm curious about someone, I search for it all the time. So that's it.
I love that you carried over that theme of an animal that describes you in each one, and then the carrying over the hair, that no matter what the animal was, it had your hair. Those are wonderful. Those animals are really great. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Barbara. We have Jojo next, and Edgar and Laura.
Hi, friends.
Hi, Jojo.
Ellen and I connected on Instagram a couple years ago during lockdown, and I'm a poet, an artist. And so I call myself a chaos booby or benevo booby. And I really identify with Carol Kane and Scrooged. So that's her about to poke, as the ghost of Christmas Present, about to poke Bill Murray's eyes. And it all ended up hair centric. I can't imagine why. And then under my ambivalent quality, I said I call myself an art enabler, but I'm also just an enabler of naughtiness and whimsy. So I did a beatnik getting their hair ironed by their psychic powers. Hedonist enabler. And then my might cause trouble in the wonderful community. I did PTSD Van Helsing, Anthony Hopkins and Dracula. He's wearing an amazing wig in that movie, so it's all hair centric tonight. And then under my both, I hope it's my good quality, turtles and hair, a good quality, and also what would you do if no one would say, okay, hippie, and I do it anyway, so I'm already like this. I said mellow mensch, and I did my buddy Rami D, Mr. Ramdas, as the mellow AF mensch, holding his handful of journals and spiritual books. He calls that shit spiritual cookbook. And instead of the golems emet on his head, he has ahava, which is love. And he likes to say, I am loving awareness. Yeah. And these are all drawn from source images real quick. So
I love that, Jojo. I love the hair centricity. I love that you brought in celebrities that
I think in movie archetypes. So we've got Scrooged, Dracula. I can't remember what movie that features hair ironing with a literal iron, and good old Rami D.
Wonderful.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
We've got Edgar, then Laura, then Mary. Hi, Edgar.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I'm enjoying everyone's contributions tonight, as always. This is mine. I do the tarot of Edgar, and I start out with a positive quality, the creative. Edgar in many artistic disciplines. I'm holding a pencil, a brush, and the musical instrument, a lyre. And I have art, drama, music, poetry, comedy, all of these things I do. Then I move to overcome reluctance. And there I am in yellowish, Edgar paralyzed to move. So I've changed the drawing style a little bit as I'm reluctant to take action when needed. And then I go to feeling overwhelmed, and I use the black color to depict that. and that is the anxious Edgar. And finally, we move to rise in love. And then we have a energetic figure of me, Edgar, rising to meet loving, exclamation point.
I love these, Edgar. I love
Thank
the
you.
energy of them. And the drawing of that first one is so delicious.
Oh,
Thanks so
I
much for
appreciate it.
sharing.
Thank you very much. Well, I appreciate the opportunity to study myself tonight.
Good. I'm glad to hear it.
Thanks for sharing, Edgar. We got Mary, then we have Katie and Rena. Mary gotta come on
Okay.
cam.
Hang on. I'll get
There we
there.
are.
Old lady, I move slow. So my whole life has been a myth, period. You know, it's I pretty much started out as a drifter. This is my actual life. And I learned that there are rules that you have to follow. You have to be self-reliant, open-hearted, and non-committal when you're on the road living that life. Next phase is learning and seeking and learning. And this, if you like your Egyptian mythology, this is Thoth, the god of knowledge.
Beautiful bird, beautiful.
And this is the goddess Ma'at, who it's pretty much her job to keep everything in balance. And who hasn't had that lesson of being a kid with, you know, you have more Kool-Aid in your glass than the other kid does, and you fight about it. And, you know, she makes sure that all of the wealth is distributed equally. And this is also my experience of today, because I have a great niece and nephew who are just a couple of little monsters that I have to mediate between at times. And this is me and my heart's desire to take them on the road and teach them how to be open-hearted and what are the other rules? Greet everyone with an open heart and share everything you have with whoever you meet and breathe. So
I love the continuity. I love the continuity of the first panel being on the road and the last panel being on the road, and also the god from the second panel showing up in the fourth panel. It looked like the bird on the staff.
Yes.
Yeah, very nice. Thank you so much.
That was great, Mary.
Thanks.
We accidentally skipped Laura Silverman, so we're gonna, there she is.
All right. Hi. All right, here are my four. The first one is the serene listener and plant nurturer. That is very aspirational. The next one is the million idea thinker upper. I've got the strict judger and quick critic. I don't really know why I think birds are judgmental, but anyway. And then the last one is the free-spirited dancer. Thank you.
Those are beautiful.
I love
Those are
doing
beautiful.
it.
The third panel strike is really struck me with the two birds. Thank you.
Those were great. Sorry, I skipped you, Laura. Ellen, we're into overtime. Are you okay on time? Because we've got.
That's fine for me.
Okay, cool. We have Katie next, then Rena, then Ange. I have to ask you to unmute. Hi, Katie.
Hi, thank you. Thanks for this prompt. It's really reflective. I appreciate that about it. Okay, so mine, the first one I have, mine are a little bit out of order, but this is the me at my not best. I named it the irritability the kid. It's me with a lasso saying, "Who can I catch bugging me?" And then here's one of the things I think defines me. What did I see? Or excuse me, I called it the seeking scribe, and I'm asking myself, what did I see and hear today? And what does it all mean? Because I'm a very active journaler. And Then here's another one that, this is the one I'd like to be more of. It's called the Determined Doer. And it's someone looking at a mountain of rocks blocking the sun and taking the rocks and putting them in a wheelbarrow one by one. And it says, I guess we go stone by stone. I often feel determined, but it doesn't always translate into action. So I put those two together. And then my final one is the teacher translator. I think one of the things I'm good at is listening to all of the things people are saying, and then they don't necessarily understand each other, but I can translate it really well, what they're trying to say to each other, and just make sense of a whole bunch of what other people see as jumble. So thanks
what
for
a
letting
great
me share.
skill. Yeah, what a great skill. What a great drawing, showing all the voices coming from all sides. And also the drawing of the stones was really nice aesthetically. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing. We have Brenna, then Ange, then Lucy.
Hi there.
Hello.
Hi, Rina.
This is great. This is my first one I've ever tuned in for. So this has been
Welcome.
fun.
Oh, welcome.
So first one, I think one of my biggest strengths is also something that hurts me the most is being empathetic to a fault. So getting stabbed through the middle, but just being infused with it, having a hard time individualizing from that. And then negative quality is workaholic. There's a bunch of calendars behind me that all say all caps deadline. And then something that I would like to incorporate would be being protective and reflective, both of myself and for others. But that kind of bounces off the empathetic to a fault thing, trying to be just as gentle to myself. And then the last one was just, I've been, exploring identity with my faith and my queerness. So just, I feel like a lot of my drawings are like closed in or stressful or anxious. So I wanted to be calm and holy and confident. So that's what I
Thank you. Those drawings are so beautiful. I can't believe you did them in 20 minutes or less.
Yeah, thank you.
The shading, the form, really nice. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Beautiful. I hope you keep coming back to Friday Night Comics.
Yeah, I hope to. Thanks.
We've got Ange, then Lucy, then Tim.
Hi. This was really fun. Thank you so much for hosting. I feel like pop culture is like the best way to describe everything I do. So I did a lot of pop culture references. So I put Fearless for my first one. If y'all are familiar with Lisa Hannibal in Tuca and Birdie, this is Tuca. She's like this really loud and just energetic character. So I wanted to do that. I guess for one of my flaws, I put martyr. So I put like a cup of wine and like communion bread. And then there's a dialogue that says, is there enough? And then someone saying, "Ver well be." I've been thinking a lot about religion recently, even though I don't really practice as much. And I just love the unconditional and like overwhelming love in Christianity, while still also knowing like in a human sense, like that's almost near impossible because we also have our limits. So I thought of that. My last thing I want to bring more of is curiosity. I put Curious George because I feel like curiosity is such a good trait. And then my very last thing was community focused. This is a picture of Dolly Parton. Should have made her hair bigger, with the theme of hair. But yeah, she's always giving. She's giving us great music in the past several years. So she's always giving back, and that's something I always try to do as well. But yeah, this was really great. Thank you so much.
Those are so great. I love the Curious George with binoculars and the symbolism and just the feel, the overall feel. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing, Ange. We have Lucy, then Tim, Andy, Lizzie, and then we'll wrap it up with Susanna.
I love this. I love seeing everybody's stuff. Ellen, this was so well timed. I did a project that was kind of based on this in 2020, and I'm like really wondering if there's something in the water right now that everyone during the pandemic was like, is it time to use art to investigate our innermost selves? It could be. It just feels like very in the air. So well timed. Mine were, I did the vivarium, which I was thinking about holding space, I guess, and like nurturing emotional intimacy in spaces, and thought drawing one of those little hanging areas. I learned today that a vivarium is a habitat for an animal and a terrarium is meant to be primarily for plants. So I did choose vivarium because I want there to be like animal life in there. And then my conflict was a combination of like conflict avoidance and perfectionism, which I chose an armadillo with a crown of spikes. And I think it's fitting that I didn't center this image very well, and my perfectionist brain has been furious about it the whole time, and so I'm leaving it. But that was my, just like unwillingness to engage in conflict. And then for an invitation to support, I did the dam, which I was trying to think of beavers and how a dam is a form of destruction and obstruction, but also a home, and trying to think about productive conflict and productive disagreement. And then for the thing that I invited in, somebody else had a monk. I picked my friend niece, who went off after we were friends in college and became a Buddhist monk. And just thinking about, this isn't maybe in the keeping with the spirit of the prompt, but like walking away just from like not having to be grinding, not be like pushing as a creator on the internet right now, which feels really exhausting. So just imagining like permission to put things down for a while and trust that other things will be able to continue through other people's efforts. So that's
Lucy's, the drawings are so gorgeous, and the palette. I mean, you clearly draw a lot. An armadillo with the spikes. I actually liked that it was a little off center, and just the image itself was very powerful.
Oh, thank you. I would love to send you the card. I'm still trying to figure out how to release the card deck, but when I put it together, I would love to share it with you, because this seems very up your alley.
Yeah, please do.
All right, there's more folks. I'm going to hop off.
So we've got Tim, Andy, Lizzie, and then we're going to say we're going to wrap it with Susanna. And if you didn't get to share and wanted to, please do it on social media. I put the tags up in the chat. Hi, Tim.
Hey.
Hi,
All right.
Tim.
So here's my organized honeybee. He's a hard worker, diligent. He's got everything organized. I think that's one of the qualities. The quality that I didn't want was the scared mouse, squeaky mouse, scared of angry people and critical people. The one I wanted was the lion. I tried to make a lion look like he's a leader, but I don't know. Anyway, I like the quality of leadership, and I thought it would be a lion. And then the quality that, what was the last thing?
If you were received lovingly, is it that one?
Yeah, if everybody would receive, I knew I would be received, then I would probably speak up more. I'd probably open my mouth and be bold and fearless like this bird here. He doesn't care what anybody thinks.
Well, Tim, you know that I love your drawings. I feel like I want each one of them to be my friend. They're so lovely. And the bee as the organizer, and just the way, you know, the honeycomb is so organized. That was perfect.
I realized I didn't know how to draw a honeycomb.
I thought they're great. Those were great. Thanks so much.
Thanks for sharing, Tim.
Thank you for this.
We've got Andy, Lizzie, and Susanna.
I've got so I've got, my first one was like a vole or a mole. One of the qualities, the best qualities that I wanted to give was that I listen very hard, but I'm very hard of hearing. This one is sparkling in the face of fear, like a peacock. This one is for every positive, there's a negative, like a yin and yang kind of thing. And then this one is my cat. This is the one I would like to be if I could everybody love me.
Each one is incredible, and I love the way you use the lettering. Beautiful, thank you.
Thank you. Lizzie and Susanna.
Hey, Lizzie.
Wow, Andy, I love those drawings. I did mine digitally for the first time, so maybe I could share screen.
Yeah. We've got share screen enabled.
I'm gonna be very good at this. No, I'm not. Right? How do you do it? You can do your what?
Safe haven for people whose various.
Well, Lizzie's figuring that out. Two more people snuck their hands up. Do you have time, Ellen?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll do Cheryl and Marlena after Susanna, and then we'll say goodnight. Why don't we come back to you, Lizzie?
Great.
Okay.
I don't know what I'm doing, so that's maybe for the best.
This is me. Mine's very incomplete still.
Wait, hang on, Susanna.
Okay.
All right, we'll come back to you, Lizzie. Okay.
Right now?
Hey, hi.
Hi, Susanna.
Hey, Ellen. So I think I probably misunderstood this from the beginning. I kind of took characters like archetypes I was taking.
Oh, Susanna, Lizzie's screen is coming up.
Oh, okay.
Okay. We'll
Yeah, I'll
get right
mute.
back to you. Thanks for your patience. All right, we can see it now, Lizzie.
Okay, I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Let's see. I didn't really understand that it was supposed to be the 4 different questions became cards. So
it didn't matter.
Okay. I also don't know what I'm doing again. I don't want to move my picture. Maybe we should not be looking at me anymore.
I love this one, Lizzie, the one who gets stuck.
Great. I did one where it was the one who keeps moving, which was like, you know, like biking up the mountain, which is totally part of me. And then there's the part of me that gets stuck and is like, I can't do anything. One was the one that is at peace where they're at, and that's like relaxed, and it's like, this is the way it is, and that's okay. And
If you close out one and open the other, we'll be able to see it, I think.
it. Okay.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
Oh, there we go.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the other ones are probably somewhere.
This is beautiful.
And then the 4th one was the one that keeps moving, and that one's like seeks change, or like change is possible. Thanks everyone for putting up with myself on the computer.
I love your line drawings, Lizzie, as always. These are gorgeous.
I kind of missed being on paper. Wish I'd been.
Yeah, but they look great.
Thank you.
Okay.
I also like the writing, the font of the writing.
All right, cool. Now we'll go back to Susanna, then Cheryl and Marlena. Okay.
Okay.
So we're back to, sorry about that, Susanna.
No worries. So I had the first character was the explorer. So I was like just taking sort of historical mythical characters. So I started with Sacagawea, the story of the core of discovery, and she's she's the one who leads Lewis and Clark across the country to the Pacific. And she was able to connect with the Shoshone. And she saw her brother by coincidence. And so kind of made, she was a kind of connector as well. And then for the second one, I chose Ophelia, who's the victim, who's sort of drowning in the story that overwhelms her, that she can't really control. So I had surrender, victim, and obsessive, self-defeating destroyer, was sort of like trying to show her drowning in muddy water. And then for the third, I chose survivor, and this is the book of Ruth. And so it's Ruth gleaning the corn from the cornfield. She finds a way to build community and to build family, no matter what her circumstances are. And by gleaning corn and by being kind of really fiercely dedicated to surviving and being loyal and rebuilding a life, she's able to move forward. And then for the fourth, I chose Ariadne. It was the story of, she was the daughter of King Minos, and she helped Theseus find his way through the labyrinth. And so she's holding the red thread that she gives Theseus to find his way through the labyrinth. And I had trouble coming up with her words. I thought first builder, and then I was thinking light bearer, hope restorer, creator, founder, leader. Anyway, I wasn't really happy with any of the words that I came up with. And for those of you who've known me and seen me in other drawings and see my cats jumping around, yes, one of them is named Ariadne. I just think she's a really cool character and a cool name. So those are four, what I've got so far.
I love that I'm learning so much in this workshop. I love all the archetypes, the watercolor, the choice of watercolor. It's really very rich. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing, Susanna. Cheryl?
Yes. So I didn't get much done, but I fly by the seat of my pants, and I wanted to make it like a magic carpet ride. And then
awesome.
I have like this RBF face where it seems like I'm really unapproachable. And so I'm like that haughty flower from Alice in Wonderland. And then I was going to draw impatience, like the flowers, and also make them anthropomorphic so I can have more patience. And I also wanted to draw walking on eggshells, but I couldn't come up with a thing for that yet. But thank you. This was lovely.
Thank you. I love the flying pants. I also fly by the seat of my pants. I love that.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Cheryl. And we'll wrap it all up with Marlena.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think Michael is your name.
Yes.
Michael's the host, and I'm yep.
Yeah, no, thank you, Michael and Ellen, for squeezing me in. I had computer problems, and I was out for 20 minutes. I just persevered. Anyway, thank you. Well, I think when you said mythical, I started to think of Greek mythology. And my title is, as you can guess, Athena and Othello, or Othello and Athena. She is just so distraught after a volcanic eruption on an island, and she is directing compassion from Othello, who's out on the ocean, an adventurer. And she says to him in a letter, "Dear Othello, I need your compassion, loyalty, and your inexhaustible help to regenerate and recover my community." This is the aquatic community because it's a fantasy that I created. And then she said in a further letter, "I am very aware," can you see that? "I am very aware that you struggle with compassion, but I'm sending my magic wand across the ocean to assist you. In a few minutes, you will feel it vibrating through your body. So get ready. And then there is a wonderful looking man, also, you know, transformed into, what do they call him, a merman? And he says, thank you for the magic wand. I will use my harp to calm the souls of those who lost dear ones. And that means their friendship deepens. And then eventually, when everybody was saved and back on another island and safe, the bird comes along to congratulate the two of them for having repaired and recovered their community together. And they are now, you know, sort of thanking each other in the last tarot card, saying, we managed to take everybody off the island. And so this is my contribution today.
The drawings are amazing, Marlena. Thank you. And I can't believe you did this in 20 minutes. That's gorgeous. And
Yeah,
thank
and
you for the.
What helped me a bit is I'm really into mythical things at the moment, and I love ancient history. So it was really lovely, very enjoyable for me to draw the ocean and the boats and the dragon. You can see the face of a woman in front of the dragon boat. And yeah, all the other bits, you know, the light around their head showing their friendship going very strong. So thank you so much, Ellen. This was
Thank
a
you for
nice
sharing.
experience. Thank you.
I'm so glad. Thank you. And thank you all. I learned a lot. Michael, you asked me to remind you to share the chat. Thanks for coming, Lizzie. Michael, are you there?
I think we all thank you and wave to you at this point.
Yes, thank you.
That's
Yeah,
good.
He has everyone unmute at the end and say thank you. So yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is
Thank you all.
Wonderful.
Thank
you. Thank you for
Thank
sharing.
you.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you, Ellen.
Next time.
Thanks, Ellen.
Thank
I
you
got
all.
thrown out of the Zoom, so I missed the big goodbye. This was amazing. Thanks so much. My only regret was that I wasn't here as a participant. Thanks for coming, everybody. Don't forget to post on social media. See you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, Ellen. Thanks, Michael.
Thanks, Michael. Thanks, Ellen.
Bye,
Thank you,
everybody.
Ellen.
Hi, Tona. Michael, are you still there?
I'm here.
Did you hear my?
I got thrown out at the end of Marlena's share.
Oh, no.
No, I got to see all the art, but just as you were winding it up.
Okay. Well, we're left with some of my family members. Hi, Mom. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Brian. Good to see you, Tona.
Hi, Ellen. Thank you.
Hi, Deborah.
Enjoyed it a lot. A lot.
Thanks, Tona. I'm so glad you were here.
I'm going to keep working on it.
Good. Well, I hope you share it. I hope all of you share these on Instagram if you're on Instagram.
Okay, now they can hear you, Mom.
Bye, Ellen.
Bye, Mom. So glad you were here.
It was a lot of fun. You have great people taking part in it.
Yeah, the group is amazing. My favorite part is seeing people's work.
It's beautiful.
Hi, Julia and Brian.
Talented people.
Yes. Little dog who wants to say hello.
Oh.
This is Chico. I'm looking after Chico.
Hi, Chico.
He said enough of this.
Where's Nemo?
He's under the table. He's under the table because it's storming here a little bit.
Okay, that's so he doesn't have to come out.
Is Chico part Chihuahua?
I think so. He's my friend's dog. That's my guess. He's part a lot of attitude.
Oh, yes. Chihuahuas, they think they are princesses and princes.
Yeah, my dog's a 55-pound pit bull, and Chico just completely dominates my dog.
Yeah. Size doesn't matter. They think
No, size doesn't.
They think they are bigger than than what they actually are.
Yeah, he goes after everything. He goes after the cars, the deer. I'm just holding on to him. Yeah.
Thank you very much, everyone. Have a lovely day.
Have a lovely day.
By the way, I am in Sydney.
Oh,
Thanks.
wonderful.
Bye-bye.
Thanks
Thank
so much,
you.
Ellen. This is really great. All right.
Thanks, Michael, for
And
hosting.
all of
Bye-bye.
this is still going out on the simulcast, so we'll say good night. Have a great weekend, everybody.
And Michael, did you save the chat so I can read it?
Oh, thanks for.
I have it. I have it.
Oh, Deb, my friend has it. Okay. No, you don't need to do it, Michael.
Okay.
All
Oh,
right.
yeah, I got thrown out anyway, so.
Sort of
I
like an
missed
extra.
everything.
Yeah. We're
Michael,
only,
sorry about the problems in the beginning. I think I need a computer. I think my iPad, I thought the problem was the internet, but it's my iPad. So good to know.
Yeah, it's hard to share from the multitask.
Yeah, yeah. I felt for you because you couldn't see the chat once you were. So sorry about that.
No worries. Okay. All right, thanks, everybody.